So welcome back to another tech and gaming reviews video. If you have been a member on this channel and have watched a couple of our previous videos, you have noticed that we have been talking about fully transitioning to OLED for our gaming and normal TV watch usage that we're going to be doing, and that we're going to be getting rid of two of our LED TVs, possibly all four, but at least for the most part, we're going to be getting rid of two to basically replace the two OLEDs that we are going to be getting. And if you're wondering what models those two LED TVs are, well, they are two very popular 2022 models, the Sony X90K and the Hisense U8H. And I know I can see one or two comments in the comment section being of the Hisense U8H, wondered why we're going to get rid of it, which I will admit, the Hisense U8H, even to this day, and coming from a person that has experienced some OLEDs, including a QD OLED from Samsung, the Hisense U8H is still a fabulous TV, especially when it comes to its brightness and just overall, colors and picture quality altogether. But OLED is definitely winning us over because it's just the best overall. You get the best colors, the best gaming performance that you can honestly get on any TV out there. And that's just what a lot of reviewers say. If you want the best of the best, OLED is definitely the way to go. But with all that being said, we're going to be getting another Samsung QD OLED, but we're also going to get another LG WOLED, and these are two of LG's new 2024 OLED TVs. Now, these are a little bit of a tough choice, and you just let us know in the comment section down below at the end of this video of which one of these two LG OLEDs is going to be the smarter buy. But these two TVs are practically identical, but they do have a few different tiny key differences that are making them a bit of a tough choice to pick, whether if it's the C4 or the B4 is the smarter buy. But they're pretty much identical and they have even features across the board. But I'll just go on ahead and start with some of the differences that's making it hard for us to choose which one is the better option. Now, the C4 can actually go up to 144 hertz refresh rate. The B4 does not, however, but it can actually go up to 120, which is not really a huge difference in terms of frame rate, gaming and all that stuff, which really, 24 extra frames is not going to be that big of a difference. You have to go 30 to 60 frames or 60 to 120 frames in order to see a massive difference. But going up to 24 frames at even higher frame rate already, it's definitely not going to be a huge difference. But as a gamer on a PC can actually get the best out of the C4. And then another thing in terms of gaming is the game optimizer mode. Now, the C4 does take a bit of a hit in terms of its game mode brightness, but we have heard from ratings.com, which is the site that we're on, the B4 can actually maintain its brightness in game mode, where the C4 will take a tiny bit of a hit, but the C4 does, however, get just a tad bit brighter than the B4. So when you really look at it all together, it kind of does make it a bit of a hard decision if the C4 or the B4 is going to be the smarter buy, because the price difference and the picture performance is honestly it's just a really tough choice. But we'll go on ahead and we will go through the ratings.com and the scores that Ratings has given of all of the normal, pretty much all the catalog, this stuff that they've did. I don't know why I said catalog, but you get it. Each individual thing, whether if it's sports, video games, HDR, PC monitor, and the list goes on. But when you look at this, it actually they actually have video games, technically gaming altogether. gaming is literally pretty much the exact same. Like when you look at video games, it's a 9.4 on both, and then the same thing with HDR gaming, it's a 9.1 also on both. Now we're going to go through this, and honestly, like, this is not going to really bother us. The build quality will not, but when you look at the build quality, it's actually good on both, but the C4 actually does have just a tiny bit of a leg up when it comes to the build quality. And then the contrast, blooming, and freaking local dimming that you're seeing, well, because they're both OLEDs, you don't have to worry about nothing. They're both going to be the exact same 10 out of 10 score on all three of these. So because that, it's got local dimming of each individual pixels. So you don't have to worry about lightning transition zones or whatever on like some VA type TVs that have some backlighting. You don't have to worry about local dimming from something like that. You'll see like some part of a screen be lit up on a dark black background. And then the contrast and game mode of details and such, they're pretty much basically the same. Now, this is another difference right here where the C4 does actually shine, but this is not in game mode. But when you look at HDR brightness, they both have a good score of 7.7 and 8.3, but the C4 actually does have the leg up in terms of HDR brightness, and it does get a tad bit brighter than what the B4 actually has. Now, HDR brightness in game mode is a completely different story. Now, these are pretty much identical as well, but what is kind of surprising is that even with the small 1 point difference that the B4 does have over the C4, I mean, you're really not going to be able to tell a difference at all in terms of gaming and HDR, even if you have these two TVs side by side. But it is a bit odd that even the B4 does have just a tad bit of 1 point higher than the C4 in terms of HDR brightness, but that's just not going to really be no difference at all. Honestly, like, they're pretty much going to be the same. So HDR brightness on both is not going to be a problem. Now, this is also good on both, but you can tell that even the B4 definitely does have the leg up over the C4. And then when it comes to brightness, honestly, even though they have touted that the C4 can actually get brighter than the B4, it looks like that there's not going to be a huge difference in terms of brightness of the B4 and the C4. So, it honestly might look like that possibly the B4 might be just a tiny bit brighter in game mode than where the C4 is, but they keep touting, even with this measure bit right here of 411 nits, of peak brightness, they still have touted that the LG C4 can still get brighter than what the B4 can actually get. And then as for the color gamut, you can just tell that they're pretty much identical. Literally, like, there's literally no difference. It does look like, especially right down here, that the B4 does definitely have just a tiny bit of a leg up, but it's not a huge difference that you're really going to tell. And then the color volume looks to be almost identical on both on this one. And then the pre-calibration and the post-calibration and all that. And then you got gray uniformity, which is pretty much the same, 8.8 on both. Black uniformity is going to be good on both. Viewing angles is pretty much the same. Now, reflection handling, it is a tad bit better on the C4, but the B4 still has really good reflection handling overall, and still, like, you're not going to be able to tell a difference. And then the HDR native gradient handling, also going to be pretty much the same. And then this is where there is a huge difference, and it's not like a gigantic huge difference, but somewhat of a noticeable one, is low quality content smoothing. Now, it's good on both, but the C4 does actually have a leg up when it comes to low quality content smoothing. and then the upscaling sharpness, which is pretty much LG's processing is what I'm trying to say. I know like I was screwing up there for a second, but this is LG's basically processing, and it's pretty identical. Literally, there is no difference when it comes to upscaling low resolution content on both either the C4 or B4. You're pretty much getting the same on there. And then response time, it's literally the exact same. Like you can see 0.2 milliseconds, 80% response time, 102.3, and all that good stuff. And then variable refresh rate, which is kind of like where there is, shows the little bit of the difference like we were talking about. As we were saying in the beginning of the video, the LG B4 is only capable at 120 Hz, and then right here, the C4 can actually cap out at 144 Hz, which is not going to be a huge difference. And then the input latency for gaming, as you can see, pretty much similar results, like a 5.8 milliseconds at 1080p 120, 5.3, and then 4K, pretty much 10 milliseconds on both, as well as basically 5 milliseconds on 120 on both. And then right here is what you would get at 144 Hz on the C4, is you'll get less than 5 milliseconds. So when you look at both TVs side by side, if you was to get them, they're going to pretty much look pretty much identical. But the C4, like I mentioned, does take a hit in terms of brightness on the game optimizer mode, but the B4 does not. So the B4 can maintain its brightness. But this is kind of like where it makes it a tough choice. So when we get to this point of deciding either the LG B4 OLED or the LG C4 OLED, let us know in the comment section down below which one of these is going to be the best. Is it best to get the C4 because of a 144 Hz refresh rate and maybe like one or two possibly extra like gaming features or just features altogether and get the 144 Hz refresh rate? Or will it be smarter because of not console gaming not being able to go above 120 Hz, but the B4 actually maintaining its brightness in game mode, but also still being probably a couple hundred or a few $100 cheaper than what the C4 will be once Black Friday comes around? So you let us know in the comment section down below. If the C4 actually, with having some hits on its picture quality, but still being a premium picture and premium TV overall, or will the B4, for some, certain substantial, stuff going on, like I was saying, with maintaining its brightness and game mode and whatever, if that can also justify the price cut of not spending as much as the C4, is what I was trying to say. So yeah, let us know in the comment section down below of which one of these two do you think is going to be the smarter buy for our gaming experience and for our normal usage of watching TV on top of our gaming. So let us know if the B4 is the better one, or if it's worth getting the C4 with some of the advantages that it has and then some of the disadvantages that it does not have over the B4. You just let us know in the comment section down below of which one you think. But minus, I know we screwed up a couple times trying to talk about what we were trying to speak up. You just let us know. But that's going to pretty much do it for this video. So if you could, smack that like button and also subscribe if you are new to this channel, and we will keep you posted with gaming content and such going forward. And also when we do get our OLED TVs, at least our Samsung QD OLED first, and then whoever decides that which one is the better option in the comments. So let us know in the comments which one is the better option, and subscribe, comment down below, hit that like button, and we shall see you guys on the next video. So peace out.